Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to dig into the most important lessons you ever learned at school. And I'm willing to bet they weren't on any test you ever took.
So just think back for a second. With all those years you spent in a classroom, what's the one thing that really stuck with you? The lesson you actually use pretty much every single day.
Yeah, I'm guessing it probably wasn't quadratic equations or the date of a specific battle or anything from the periodic table. Nope. For most of us, the most critical lessons were this whole other set of unwritten rules, all about how to navigate the messy, confusing, and unspoken social world.
And believe it or not, this entire system of unspoken expectations and social rules that we all had to figure out, well, it actually has a name. It's called the hidden curriculum, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this explainer. Okay, so let's get into it. The official definition is the set of rules or guidelines that are often not directly taught, but assumed to be known. So what does that actually mean? It's basically all the social stuff we just soaked up by being at school: how to act, how to talk to people, how to fit in.
This quote from Roz Blackburn just hits the nail on the head. She said, learning these rules is like trying to build a 1,000-piece puzzle without a picture. I mean, that's a perfect way to describe it, right? That feeling of trying to figure out the social world when nobody ever gives you the instruction manual.
But here's the thing. This puzzle is actually even harder than that. Because in the social world, the puzzle pieces themselves are constantly changing shape on you.
And look, we're not just talking about simple manners here. The hidden curriculum is this huge, complicated language. It's everything from slang and metaphors to the tiny little shifts in someone's tone of voice, their facial expressions, their body language. It's like this whole other conversation happening just beneath the surface.
And this is where it gets really, really complex. A rule that totally works in one situation is completely wrong in another. The rules change depending on how old you are, your culture, even who you're with at that exact moment. I mean, the way you talk to your best friend is totally different from how you talk to a teacher, and the rules for the library are definitely not the rules for the playground.
And if you think I'm exaggerating about how deep this rabbit hole goes, get this. There is a real International Center for Bathroom Etiquette. No joke. They have compiled dozens and dozens of super specific, unwritten rules for something we all do every day. It's a perfect, kind of hilarious example of the hidden curriculum in action. So if this whole curriculum is supposed to be hidden, how do you even see it? Well, it turns out sometimes the best way to understand a system is to look at it from someone else's perspective, from the outside looking in. This quote from Judy Endow is just so insightful. For those of us who kind of absorb these rules without thinking, they're invisible. But imagine having to learn them all consciously. It really is like trying to master the entire culture of a foreign country you've never even been to. And Roz Blackburn adds another layer here. She says, I have to work out theoretically all the things that you just land yourselves instinctively. See, for people on the autism spectrum, these rules that seem so obvious to many aren't intuitive at all. And it's their experience of having to manually learn this hidden curriculum that actually makes it visible for the rest of us.
So what's amazing is that by studying these experiences, experts like Temple Grandin and Sean Barron have actually been able to decode the hidden curriculum. They figured out that even though the rules seem endless, they can pretty much be boiled down to a core set of master lessons. Think of it as the social instruction manual we were never given. Let's check out the 10 big ones.
Okay, let's start with the first 5. These are really the foundation for just surviving socially. First up, rules are not absolute. This is all about realizing that social context is king. Next, not everything is equally important. This one's about perspective, learning to tell the difference between a small slip-up and a huge deal. Then there's everyone makes mistakes. So important. It's about building resilience and not letting one awkward moment ruin your entire day. Number 4 is huge. Honesty is different than diplomacy. This is a masterclass in tact, right? Learning that you can be truthful without being brutal. And finally, being polite is appropriate in any situation. It's basically the universal social key. These first 5 are all about building a flexible, tough social mindset.
All right, now for the back half, which gets into some more complex stuff. Number 6 is a tough one, but so important. Not everyone who is nice to me is my friend. This is all about figuring out social boundaries and what people's intentions really are. Number 7 is about our social masks. People act differently in public than they do in private. Then, know when you are turning people off. This is a big step in self-awareness, learning to read the room. Rule 9 gets right to the heart of it. Fitting in is often tied to looking and sounding like you fit in. This just flat out acknowledges that massive pressure to conform. And the last one, number 10, is the real cornerstone of growing up. People are responsible for their own behaviors. It's about taking ownership. These final lessons are what take you from just getting by socially to actually, hopefully, thriving.
So all of this brings us to one last pretty big question. We've seen that school is about way more than just books. It's this massive engine for socializing us. So if we're all being put through this hidden curriculum, what are we ultimately being socialized for? What kind of world are these unwritten rules really preparing us to live in?